why human beings are regarded as far superior or most fortunate or intellectual and who have more potential for gaining wisdom, knowledge, enlightenment. I think many people are ignorant. When you study from the very beginning, what sort of belief that people maintain regarding the existence? To many people, all these living beings, those who exist in any part of the world, were created by a supernatural or supreme authority or living beings. And we are at mercy of the Creator. We have no freedom to make use of our life according to our wish or according to our understanding or knowledge. Therefore, our duty is to obey, to listen, to worship and pray. Some others, so-called intellectuals, do not believe this. To them, life is not planned or created by anybody in this world. To them, this is some sort of coincidence. That means we appear in this world accidentally, not planned by anybody. So after our death, there is nothing to remain, nothing to reappear. Many people believe this. But when you study the way how the Buddha tried to introduce or explain the nature of existence, he has given entirely a different interpretation. He categorized all those living beings into 31 groups. 31 planes of existence does not mean there are 31 places. Because different type of living beings exist in different planets and planes or where certain facilities are available. Then the formation, shape, appearance, outlook also take place according to the environment, atmosphere, way of life, food in that particular area. Then what are those 31 planes of existence? Naraka, Tirachhina, Preta, Asura. Start from the bottom. four kinds of unfortunate living beings who have no chance to cultivate, to develop their way of life. Therefore, we regard them as unfortunate living beings. Their knowledge, understandings also very poor. Because of their way of life during their previous existence again have taken place in such unfortunate states. Those who have abused their life, those who have misused their life, those who have committed evil, wicked, or cruel, or harmful, or dangerous thing, either for their living, or for their pleasure, or for something else. So their own karma, their own action formed or created these different kinds of living beings in different places according to the gravity or the degrees of their own karmas. Naraka we introduce as hell. Tirachina, animals. Preta, a spirit, ghost. Asura, demons or devils. These are the four unfortunate groups. General belief that sufferings in hell in every religion illustrated and explained in their holy books. So according to them, hell is located or situated under this ground, under this earth. When we talk about hell, we always point in this way. When we talk about heaven, we point here in this way. Because this belief was there for thousands of years. When you study the teachings of the Buddha, where the Buddha has mentioned that hell is not located under this earth. Hell is not under the great ocean. Hell is not under great Mahameru. Remember, the Buddhist attitude towards hell. Then where is hell? Hells exist everywhere. Therefore, hell is not located in any particular area. Hell is not created by any god or any devil. Then where is it? Here on this earth, we can see hell. Amongst human beings, we can see hell. Amongst animals also, we can see hell. And amongst certain other living beings also, we can see hell. what is the meaning? Hell means suffering. When life becomes a miserable one, most unfortunate one, physically and mentally, there is no happiness, no pleasure, no freedom, no satisfaction. That life is in hell. Therefore, hell is not located in any part of the world as a ready-made one. There is nobody in this world who can send us to hell. We create our own hell according to our way of life, according to our way of thinking, according to way of doing things. God and devils have nothing to do with this. It is not a punishment given by another person. That is the reaction, that is the effect of our own thought, own bad deeds. Simply by praying or worshipping to anybody, we cannot escape. By asking forgiveness from Buddha or God, we cannot escape. After committing all sorts of evil, disturbing and harming, bluffing others, go and ask forgiveness to get rid of the sins committed by them. Never work. There is nobody who can take away your sins. There is nobody who can forgive you. That is why it is necessary for you to learn these things earlier, before you start to commit evil. After committing all the wicked and cruel things, it's very easy for you to go and worship and pray and asking forgiveness. Buddhism never accepts this. Now you can understand where the hell is. So don't think hell is under this earth. Hells exist, not only one hell. Various kinds of hell suffering. The way how we suffer, when we analyze according to our way of sufferings, we introduce the names of hell. That is the most unfortunate state of existence. And hell is not eternal. It is not a permanent state. To many others, there is eternal hell. Buddhism never accepts this belief. For everything there is a limit. Either for few hundred or few thousands or millions of years, there must be a limit. So the Buddhism says, you have to suffer only for a certain period according to the gravity or the degree of your bad karma. Those who have committed evil, who suffer in that state of hell, again get the chance to come back, to lead a noble life or religious life, can attain sainthood also. Now we can see the difference. Buddhism says hell is not located in any part of the world underground. Hell is not permanent. We suffer there when rebirth takes place in such unfortunate state for a certain period, existence again takes place somewhere else according to the balance of our karma. Because we do not spend everything there. Next one, Tirachina. Tirachina means animals. Tirachina, the meaning is those living beings who walk in this way. We walk in this way. Many other living beings walk in this way, like cats and dogs and even birds and snakes. All those living beings walk in this way. That is the meaning of this word, Tirachina. So, we regard them as unfortunate. No doubt, they can find out their food, shelter. They also experience pleasure in their life. Ahara, Nidra, Bhaya, Maithunancha, Samanya, Metat, Pasubhir, Narana. These four things are very common amongst the animals as well as humans. Eating, sleeping, and self-preservation, sexual pleasure. These four things are common amongst animals as well as humans. In that case, how can we prove that human beings are more advanced, more fortunate than animals, if human beings also lead their life only for these four things? No difference. If the purpose of our life is only for eating and relaxing or sleeping, or sexual pleasure and self-preservation, then where is the value of human life? Where can we point out human values? There is. Dharmo hi tesang adhiko visesa. There is. Dharma. This dharma you cannot find amongst animals. What is dharma? I know the answer that you give. The teachings of the Buddha. Dharma means teachings of the Buddha. Just because the Buddha has explained the nature of Dharma, so we introduce the teachings of the Buddha as Dharma. Dharma means truth, reality, nature, phenomena, justice, peace, happiness, unhappiness. Impermanency, sufferings, pleasure. If we can understand how these things take place, why these things appear, change and disappear, Dharma is there. We can see how changes take place. We can see how Things are going on decaying, declining, deteriorating. Nobody in this world who can stop. We can see how things suddenly disappear. That is called dharma. Understanding of this nature you cannot find amongst animals. Animals are in the dark. They cannot understand anything. That is why very easily they become victims to us. That knowledge is not there. They do not know how to cultivate their way of life. Human beings have potentials, qualities. If we know how to bring them up, cultivate, nurture them, we can find out the purpose of life. Other living beings cannot find out the aim of their life. So animal life is unfortunate just because of this. And they do not know anything about their life. They do not know how to work to mold another life that which can experience more happiness, more satisfaction. Therefore they are unfortunate. But as human beings, we know how to cultivate this life. We know how to promote. We know how to shape up, mold our next existence. So animals are unfortunate, they are in the dark, their life is miserable, although they experience little bit of worldly pleasures. So rebirth take place in animal forms. Again, when you refer to the Buddha, you can understand. He says, those human beings who behave as animals, they are animals in human forms, two-legged animal. But inside, their way of thinking and life and everything animal. After their death, it is very difficult for them to become human beings again, because they have abused their humane qualities, human dignity, human intelligence. They used only animal nature. This is the answer for those who ask this question. How can human beings become animals after their death? Those human beings who maintain animal mind, who develop animal's mind, after their death, their existence or rebirth take place as animals. There is no difficulty to understand. Then the third one is preta. There are different kinds of preta, a spirit, ghost. They are also very unfortunate. They do exist here. There is no separate world for them or separate planet for those, a spirit or ghost. They do exist here. But they are invisible. Why are they invisible? The formations of their life is not like ours, not like animals. The combinations of elements not like ours. Very lesser degree of solidity, fluidity, tangible elements. Then heat and motion or wind, these four elements, different degrees exist. The formations of their life become invisible to us because we cannot catch the formation, since there is not enough elements. But life exists. When we attain arahanthood or develop our psychic power, then many of those invisible things in this world we can see. Because at the moment our vision is interrupted. We use only eye organ, but we cannot use our wisdom eye. When we developed our mind and remove so many dark clouds from the mind, dark clouds means mental impurities. So when we remove the mental impurities from the mind, we get the clear vision. Then we can see many things which we cannot see at this moment. Then some of them had to suffer for a long period. Not like human beings or animal, more than that. Some of them exist only for a short period, only for a few days, in a spirit form. There is a misinterpretation or misunderstanding. Some people believe after our death, every human being remains in spirit form for a certain period. Buddhism never accepts this belief. Impossible. This is only a belief. But rebirth takes place in a spirit form and exists there for a short period, maybe few days, or few months, or few years, or few 100 years. This is the nature of their life. Then, when somebody dies, we perform the various kind of rites and rituals and ceremonies and do some meritorious deeds and transfer the merits also. But many of those spirits cannot receive the merit. They are not fortunate enough to receive our merit. We can do anything. This is only for our own satisfaction. We cannot transfer the merits to animals. They cannot receive. So we cannot transfer the merits to many of those spirits because their life is very miserable, and we cannot release them by transferring merits. But amongst all those spirits, there is one particular group. That group is called Paradattopajivi. They are the only ones who can receive our merits. Who are they? Those who have not committed very serious evil deeds, bad karma. Those who have not accumulated enough good karma to be born as human beings or devas. Remember this. Just spent their life working, earning, eating, enjoying, but not accumulated enough good karmas for the next life. Here, within this lifetime, we are spending what we have accumulated during the previous birth. We can understand this very easily when you compare your life with others. Otherwise, you do not know how to appreciate. How many millions of human beings are blind today? But you are fortunate. How many millions are deaf? You are fortunate. How many millions are mad? You are fortunate. How many millions are dumb, cannot talk? You are fortunate. How many millions or billions are crippled, cannot walk, cannot work? How many millions are dying without food, starving? How many millions of human beings are living in this world who cannot find out a piece of cloth to cover their nakedness? Who are those people? Those who have not accumulated enough good karma to lead their human life. This is more than enough for you to understand how fortunate you are. And for you to understand that you are spending, you got all the qualities and necessities because you have enough good karmas. So during this life, you are going on spending. But you have not accumulated enough good karma for the next life. You spend everything what you have collected. In the next life, you get into trouble. This is the problem in our existence. We cannot stop this. Wherever we exist, we had to accumulate good karma. Otherwise, the next life becomes unfortunate one. Then where is the end of it? That is why the Buddha has given this warning for all of us. If we allow this life to go on like this, within this cycle of birth and death and birth and death and birth and death again and again and again and again, almost every day, you had to struggle for your survival. You had to fight for your pleasure. Again you go and bluffing and swindling and cheating and disturbing, killing, destroying others for your living and for your pleasure. You can say this is for our living. Living for what purpose? What do you gain by living? To suffer more. The more you exist, the more you have to suffer. The more you have to work. Again and again existence takes place. To understand why Nibbana or the Nirvana is important, to see the end of this struggle, to see the end of this battle, to stop our worries and miseries and disturbances and all our mental and physical problems. But while existing in this world or in any part of the universe, we cannot stop any of these things. Fear, unhappiness, unsatisfactoriness, disturbances, worries. Whether we are rich or poor, whether we are educated or not, each and every living being experience fear. Fear of sicknesses, fear of old age, fear of death. How many kind of disturbances are there? So, those spirits, they remain in that particular spirit form because they have not done very bad karma to suffer as animals or suffering in hell. Hell means that way of life. And they have not accumulated enough good karmas to be born as human beings. They are the only ones who can receive our merits. Since we do not know where they are, we do our duty. We transfer the merits. If they need our merit, if they can receive our merit, they will be benefited. Then we can promote for them to have better life because they have some more karmas which were submerged that they cannot use, but we support them to use their own karma by transferring our merits. When we radiate our mental vibration after performing some meritorious deeds, they receive this vibration just like wavelength. But there are many other kind of spirit form that we introduce as ghost. You introduce them as hungry ghost. And your hungry ghosts are very obedient one. They come out only once a year.